This is the E-Free Lethbridge podcast. Welcome to the E-Free Lethbridge podcast. It's the week of April 19th to the 26th. I'm Levi and I'm your host today. We've got the service pastor for the 9 a.m., the 11 a.m. service, the most community-minded person I know, Mark Dick.
Hi there. Good to see you, hear you.
We also got the Church at 6 service pastor, young at heart, Luke Watson.
Young at heart.
That's right.
And the Wonder Woman extraordinaire, Glenda Postman.
Oh, hi, guys.
Hi, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
You know, earlier this week, I was thinking about our names, and my name being Levi, it could also be Matthew, like in the Bible, same person. And so then we have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and then we got Glenda. So maybe a new nickname could be John.
In Hebrew, Glenda is actually
Did you know my dad wanted to name, I was supposed to be a boy, and my name was supposed to be Glenn John.
Glenn John.
And then they added a duh on the end.
Glenn John.
Wow.
It's very disappointing, I know.
Glenn Jonda.
Did you know that Richard Gere's middle name is Tiffany? Richard
No.
Gere. Yes.
Really?
Fact.
Wow.
Fact.
This is fun facts. We should do a fun fact segment. What fun facts do we know?
Well,
I feel like you are full of fun facts.
Yeah,
we have a packed show, but that leads us perfectly into our fun morning question.
Morning question.
So today's fun morning question is going to be, which person in the Bible do you most resemble and why?
Oh my goodness.
I got this. This was a hard question.
You got this already?
I got it.
Okay.
Because this is good. I can see myself. I can see myself right here, and I kind of look like I've been in the bush for a while. Locusts and wild honey.
John the Baptist.
John
Nice.
the Baptist.
Yeah, I've been eating better than locusts, but my facial hair looks like I've been without bathroom facilities for a while.
But Mark, you got to grow your hair out a little bit more, buddy, to let the shit.
It's coming. It's coming on top too.
Nice.
See that?
Oh yeah.
Looking good, Mark.
That's why I got to
Looking
cover
good.
up today. I went with the instantly when I saw myself in the camera, it was John the Baptist.
Great.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
impressive.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to say Mary.
Jonda?
I'd like to say Mary,
Yeah.
just because I like to give a lot.
Wow.
No, actually, not at all
She's
Mary.
Obedient. Yes.
Probably Peter.
With
Puts his
child.
foot in his mouth, says dumb things, never gets it, doesn't have a filter. Maybe.
That was mine too.
I did read a thing about Barnabas that was talking how Barnabas was like always in. Like he was always excited, like, okay, I'm in, fully in. And I always like to be in on everything. So maybe Barnabas.
But you're not fully in all the time right away. Or you might be, but only until you figure out that you want to be fully out.
Okay. Good point. Thanks, Mark.
Oh, that's funny.
What about you,
No,
Luke?
I was going to say Peter too, just for the same reasons, Glenda. Kind of sometimes stepped before he thought about it, acted before he thought, spoke before he thought. Sometimes could be like that. And also he was a fisherman. I like to fish.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I was feeling a lot of pressure to pick a woman, but then I just decided not. Didn't have to pick a woman. Just go for it. We are the same personality type, Luke. That make sense.
Sorry, Glenda.
I usually when I think about this question, I automatically go to Levi in the Bible, like Levi the tax collector.
Really?
Just because I don't know, I like that story. But if I was actually going to see myself, or who do I resemble in a jokingly way, maybe Thomas, the doubter. But also like maybe a character kind of like Titus, young, like eager. Yeah, I don't know. Those would be my people, I think.
Good answer, Levi.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Well
Titus,
thought.
and
Well
kind of like
thought
a
Titus.
through.
hipster
Excellent.
name. Yeah, that could be you. Hipster. Titus comes across a bit hipsterish.
Yeah.
Hipster.
It is. Titus is a
Probably
I know
had
a
crotch
dog named
pants.
Titus.
Probably. I don't know any Titus.
Titus is walking around with drop crotch pants on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally
Every
would have
day.
been those people.
Fun fact.
Titus.
In the midst
Love
of this
that.
season, I feel like I had my first fan email. I got an email saying that someone has seen me walking by, or someone that looks like me, and they wanted to know if it was me indeed walking by their house, and that they really enjoyed the podcast. And yeah, huge shout out to that person.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening.
No kidding.
But also turns out they're a neighbor of mine, so that's great. So excited. I can't wear my drop crotch pants
I was
outside.
gonna say,
No.
did you have
Yeah.
the drop
You got to be
crotch?
presentable,
done.
Levi. Presentable at all times.
Yep.
Have you been outside in your pajamas yet? I did it the other day,
Yes.
and I was like, I probably shouldn't do this. Whatever. It's COVID. Everybody wants.
It's
to-
acceptable.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Depends where you went.
I was just walking with Paisley. Went into the grocery store.
In
went
the
to-
grocery store?
Joking. just around the neighborhood. Then I felt kind of weird, and then I'm like, I'm coming back.
Like when you
I gotta
say
go back.
pajamas, do you mean like pajama pants, or do you mean like
Basically just my
sweatpants?
underwear.
Just his underwear. Okay, it's a lot of
All
information.
right, we should
No,
move on.
yeah, sorry.
Man.
Just the the pajama bottom pants. Yeah, the pants.
It's good.
Yeah,
Thank you,
That
Luke.
Yeah,
t-shirt.
thanks.
all right?
Paisley.
Well,
No wonder Paisley has no friends.
Just an owl.
just an owl. All right. Well, I
Oh,
think that
good.
should wrap that up. So let's get to the message.
Yeah. Meaningful stuff.
It's a great
So,
transition.
This week, we started the series I Am, and this is looking through
Oh, it's
the
funny.
different I Am statements in the book of John, and seeing a little bit about who Jesus is, what is his character. And this week we looked at the I Am statement, I am the light of the world. Jeremy Light led us through that. Little pun, I think.
Pun
in
is
that.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy Light, I am the light of the world. John
I just
8,
got it.
John 8:12 says, I am the light of the
Okay.
world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will
Hmm.
have the light that leads to life. I think this is a very timely message for us, as I know a lot of people are living in the midst of darkness. So might be a little bit of a deeper conversation today. So first question for you guys, what roadblocks do you feel, what kind of unfamiliar terrain are we living in right now?
I think everything's unfamiliar. Like really everything has shifted the way we do live life in community. Really our homes, like our home is now my work.
Mhm.
Relationships shift a little bit because we just can't have the same kind of community or connection. It's just not easy. Like everything takes a different kind of thought than what we're used to. So really the whole terrain has changed, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think that train has also, for me, I think one of my things that I've preached that I think is that we're made to be together. We actually need each other, and in a world when you don't, when we sort of do our own thing, I can drive, get my own gas, get my own groceries, go to wherever I need to, see the people, whatever. You don't really actually think you need each other, but now actually when you're like locked in and you don't have each other, I think there's like the terrain changed. You hear from more and more people. It doesn't matter the introvert, extrovert, doesn't matter. Everybody needs, you're starting to hear the language that we just need each other. I need to be, people need to be with people. I don't know. I think that I've heard that recently often from people, is that we just miss the people.
Mm. I think, Mark, for me to go on that with just the people, I think entering into like working from home, going to totally like you know, if Jack's yelling downstairs, I feel like, oh, I better go give Ruthie a hand. But if I was at work, Ruthie's on her own.
Yeah.
You know,
Fend for yourselves.
it's adjusting to that with working at home and I guess trying to figure out how that works. But also for me, I would identify with Mark with just the people. I don't know. I feel like entering into this time, like it's heavy on technology, heavy on innovation. And like, these are just things that I'm weak at. Like my natural gifting to do ministry is with people. And so like now trying to figure out how to do this online, I just feel I'm having to learn more about my weaknesses and be teachable, which is a good thing to learn. But yeah.
It's interesting too, because like our government is aware of this. Like this is how we started talking about this was last week. And we were talking about how like our government gave a speech for I think 45 minutes about mental health and saying really everything in the world is shifting. So our government recognizes it and we have to recognize it for our mental health, because really what happens in our brain is alarm bells start going off everywhere saying this is different. We don't actually have a way to figure out what's next. We don't have a way to plan and control things or think what's to come or find ways to connect. So really everything has shifted. And so everything's an alarm bell because everything's different. So we have to figure out how to name it, I think, and say it. And then also then what? What do we do? Like once the ground has shifted.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Glenda. Just like an acknowledgement. Look, the whole world is trying to adjust and figure this out. So you could have permission to make mistakes and fail. You know, like what a time for us, I think, in ministry where it's like nobody's expecting you to have this figured out. Fail, try new things, but like give yourself permission to fail. And I think that was one of the adjustments that I had to, I guess, make. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
For sure.
I think the hardest part for me is just it feels like there's no breaks.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
With the home being the office and the office being the home, and you got your kids, and my house is very full, which is great. We got community. I got my in-laws living here. We've got a girl that lives with us, and her boyfriend is here quite a bit. And so we've got a community, but there's no breaks. My living room is my office, and the bedroom is Jordana's office. And it's just, I don't know. It feels like my old rhythm that I had allowed for more space. And that's hard for me to believe because my old rhythm didn't have a lot of space for rest. And now I'm like, oh, I'm stuck at home, so I should be getting more rest. No, like I'm not getting that. And so, I don't know, the mental health side of things becomes more and more, I don't know, crazy and lots more struggles. So in the midst of this, we rely on God. And so finish the sentence for me. The Lord is my blank. For you guys in your situations right now, what is the Lord? What name would you give him in this circumstance?
Yeah, Levi, I would say when Jeremy was talking about that, the one word that came to me was joy. The Lord is my joy, actually, personally. And I think this has been this has been a journey for me before COVID. The Lord was just calling me to, hey, rejoice in the Lord always. Like, rejoice in me always, despite your circumstance. Like, take joy. And it just showed me it's an intentional thing. It's not based around your circumstance. And so that's been a word, maybe it's my 2020 word. It came to me in January in some prayer. And so I guess as Jeremy brought that up, I'm like, yep, that's it again. The Lord is my joy. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that I love it. I love that the Lord is your joy. That's so cool. I think that we, especially in times like this, when it feels darker, locked in or whatever, we lose joy. We don't
easily
look for joy, right? We easily look for the things that are terrible as opposed for the things that even in this time can give us joy. I would say along the same lines, not maybe quite joy, but I would say like provider in the things that we need. I think that, physical, food, all of the house, all of the things. Job, I'm still thankful I have all those things. But even in like, we've used the word grace a lot in our house because we're in a house and we have 3 kids and a wife and I who are, Bonnie and I are trying to work in the same house and the kids trying to work. And so I actually use the grace speech often. And so early on with myself and with our kids and with everybody. And I think that God has provided these things. Even now, when I look back, we already speak more graciously to each other. We, choose to find joy in some more things. We choose to enjoy each other more, those sort of things. So the first thing that I wrote down yesterday when Jeremy was speaking was provider. That list can get long underneath that, but I would say that was a big word.
I was thinking about like confidence or firm foundation or some ways, because it feels like everything's shifting a little bit. And like, I don't know how to win in this. Like, I mean, you make your best guess about things. You're not sure about things. Like things just feel wobbly. So I think that there is a sureness there. Like there is some things that are never going to shift. Like they're firm as like you can put your feet on them and stand, and other things will come and waves will come, but like that piece will never ever move. So I like confidence, I would say, or firm foundation. What would you say, Levi?
This might sound cheesy, but Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, like I automatically go there. But even that, like just the first bit, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me by still waters. Those words. I think my fear is burnout and how long can I go like this? And I just have to keep remembering I can go like this as long as God is guiding me and he's shepherding me, because he will make me lie down in green pastures. And so there will be a time where he will force me to be in rest. So as long as he is shepherding me and guiding me, I can continue going, even if it seems dark and I don't know, crazy. That's what I've been relying on right now.
Sometimes I wonder too if I'm like really following that light. Like, am I following you? Or do I got like my phone and my little flashlight on my phone and I'm following my own little way with my own little phone light shining on the ground in front of me? Or am I like following this light like that is leading the next path? Because sometimes that light does what Levi said, stop.
Right.
Like pause for a little while and you feel quietness, and then I feel like I get my little light out and I'm shining it around like, well, what can I see here? But
we think of the light.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, when you picked up your phone, I'm like, that's because it's too little. We think of the light being too small, but it's different. That's a difference.
I love the image that Jeremy painted when he talked about the hills. Like during the festival, they'd take these cauldrons and they would put them on the hills, and then all these torches would come. So this whole place was like filled with light. So I think, like that's the light I want to chase. That's the light I want to see. So where do I see God working, and where am I finding rest? Like, how do you tell what light you're following? Because my own little flashlight sometimes.
It's true, Glenn. And I feel like that's the road to burnout, because you're relying on yourself and not on the like I think when God says, I have immeasurably more for you, it's like, yeah, I could actually increase your capacity, that you could do more than you expected because you're actually being filled with my spirit. Like, but so often I put my own little light on.
To shine on the things that you think you should probably be doing, but he's not asking you to do that.
Good. Yeah,
and maybe that's why we feel like we have too much in our hands. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Picking up things that aren't ours.
This past summer, we were driving through to BC to see the in-laws, and there's a place in the Coquihalla area which is called the Othello Tunnels. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but there are these really long tunnels that are basically carved into the mountain for trains to go through, but the tracks are gone and you can just walk it. But they're very straight, most of them. And so when you're in them, it's quite dark, but there's always a light that you see at the end. but when you're in it, it's dark. It's kind of like this weird, like it's light at the end, but dark where you're walking. And so you can take your flashlight out from your phone and you can point it at your feet and you can see where every step is. But like, really, if you shine your flashlight around, it's just like, it's lost. Like your own light really doesn't do you any good. You have to focus on the light at the end. And I think that's sometimes kind of what we do. We like all of a sudden take our own light out and we're like, okay, but then you're only focusing on every like little thing that you can do, not on like the actual like path that God has planned for you. Does that like make sense to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great analogy because, I mean, we have light right here for our next step and our next step. This idea that it's a lamp unto my feet, right? This is this idea, but it doesn't, we also have this light of what's to come, which is really our hope. And sometimes we don't talk about that as much because we think, oh, but God is here too. But boy, we sure have a picture of what he's painting that's to come as well. That's a good reminder.
One of the things that stuck out for me when he was talking about that, and I think it sort of goes with this, is John 9:5. It talks about, while I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. And so like this, he in this sense, he like doesn't ask us to know where the end light is. Does that, like, he is the light. He wants us to follow him. I don't know, there was this picture when, even in this, like with the phone or trying to find this light, is that he is the light. Like we're to follow where he'll show us. And it might just be these first steps in front of us. He doesn't ask us to know. He doesn't tell us he's going to give us the end, show us the light. You know, he doesn't, it's not always fully visible where we're going to land, but he says, I'll give you enough light to know your path, or to know the path. I don't know. Does that make sense?
He does tell us what's beyond this world though. Like
Right.
he is saying this is what's to come, and that promise is really huge. And sometimes I forget to even think about that because I'm just asking for the light right here, right now.
And I think sometimes
like he's not going to give you your future, like here's where you're going to be at in 5 years.
Right.
That's right. That's so. Yes, I totally agree, Glenda. The eternal hope, we know that light. That's there. Yes.
And sometimes that eternal hope is really the only light that you do have.
Yeah.
Like you don't get no little flashlight for your step.
Right.
So when we're in that, do we acknowledge the dark then? Like how do we acknowledge it, you know?
Like you mean kind of what Gunnar was talking about with naming, perhaps, where it's just like.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who are going through different things, and there's fear to just putting a name to what they're going through, especially publicly, like putting a name to what they're going through when there is no light there.
I think we have to, in order to like remove the power of it, maybe. Like just to acknowledge, okay, like there is fear and uncertainty and anxiety and stress and financial things. And I think if we don't, then it like envelops us in a way. And I think that it's just a way to push it away, to say, oh, I know you. Like when I had a period of like anxiety, I like named my anxiety like Gertrude, and it made it not be mine, but something like not a part of me, but something that was telling me a lie that I could speak truth to. So to take that thing and to put it out here and talk truth to it, and I don't know, it helped me.
Yeah, like I'm just, an example for me, I guess, like 2 days ago was, I just named, like, I feel guilty. Why do you feel guilty? Because I'm actually enjoying this time. And like, you know, I feel like the enemy wants to steal and rob you, right?
Yeah.
And make you feel guilty and shame. So here I am feeling guilty and shame because, I don't know, I feel like I'm just more present. If that makes sense, during this COVID time. I'm more present at home. I feel like I'm more present when I run into people on the street while I'm walking. So I've been enjoying this time. But I think the darkness is like, no, you should feel guilty and you feel shame because people are anxious, people are losing their job, you need to feel anxious and all that. And so I think that was just naming that, as you said, Glenn, is just like, yeah, I feel guilty. There's almost just a reminder of, hey, there is light has come into the world, and there should be freedom and security from Jesus. So
I felt the same way about contentment. Like I feel I had to realize I actually feel content in whatever has come. And I understand that that has its measure too. And I feel bad for that and thinking, well, I shouldn't be. I should have some angst over this. But
right.
wow, that's just giving the devil a whole other foothold. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna be grateful for this and for the good things I have too. The little bit of light I got going on here.
A little bit of light. That's a great call, Glenn. The little bit of light that we got. Yeah.
So Jared led us in this acronym called STAR, which is stop, take a breath, appreciate, and connect to Jesus, and then respond in love. Have you guys done this? What ways have you guys been doing this? Has it been helpful for you?
I participated a bit when we did it on Sunday, or participated on Sunday, but I would say these I participate in these at different times throughout a day. Maybe does that make sense? That they like I try to do the stopping and taking a breath more often, just because I think that there's times throughout being locked in the similar same thing every day that I can quickly get into like, this is stupid, why am I doing this? So to be able to stop and well, this, and take a breath and like appreciate and connect to God, and like I feel like I walk through these maybe on like a quicker sort of some of these things quicker more often in a day, because with maybe without the exact names that he gave them, but as I thought about my days, these are some of the things that I think are for me a coping, or like a dealing with, giving me chance to name and move through, and even like find joy in some of the things. So I think I would say that I do use this, maybe not as like the acronym, but I use this more often.
I think too, it's like lots of people like an idea of meditating on the word, or like understanding where God is in your life, like asking him where he is, or mindfulness is a thing. Sometimes people don't like that word, but like all those things are just kind of a way to capture our thoughts and to stop. So I don't know if you guys have had anxiety. You'll have to tell me if you have, but anxiety is like a domino that gets tipped, and once a domino gets tipped, like I was on an airplane once, the first time I ever had an anxiety attack, and it was like a domino tipped, and by the time I landed in Germany, which is where I was going, it's like the whole stack of dominoes fell. I thought I was having a heart attack. It's the worst feeling in the world, but there was no way to stop that. So for me, it's like being mindful, aware of my thoughts. So I think it's just a practice that I probably haven't called it STAR for a long time, although the last few months I have maybe, but it's just a good daily practice for us to stop and be like, okay, I'm just going to breathe and ask God, like, where are you, God? And I want to see you and connect with him, and breathe out a word of thanks. And it's just I think it's a quick practice that we have to just learn to connect to God, and also a way to stop and capture our thoughts when they're kind of trailing.
Yeah, amen, Glenda.
Have you guys had anxiety?
Not like that.
I wouldn't even be able to process that.
So that's a no.
I don't.
So those of you listening who have had anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. These guys, maybe not.
Yes.
When I was in high school, definitely like that was my nights. I get the domino, the feeling. For me, I feel like anxiety is always loss of control for me. Like I can't actually, it's like I can't control my thoughts anymore. And yeah, like for me, the stopping, taking a breath is something that I had to do before I got to the point of loss of control, before I could get to the anxiety. And so the more we can put these types of tools into practice, the better off we are in the long run. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I worked at Briarcrest in the student res side of things, and I often can fill my time up quite a bit, and I'm running from here and there. And in our department, we had the head of counseling, and she would see me and she'd say, Levi, I think you need to just come sit in my office. And we would go through a mindfulness breathing exercise, and literally that really helped, like just breathing in and out and kind of releasing stuff and releasing it to Jesus and responding in love. And so I think this is something that I've put into practice, maybe not under the name STAR, but have put into practice throughout my days, is just taking a second to step back and breathe, count my breathing, and I don't know, reflect a little bit.
It's such a reminder that we are whole people. Like it's not just, we are not just holy or connecting with God when we are sitting with our Bibles open and we're like, okay, I'm in this verse today and I'm going to do this prayer, or that's not the only time. So we're connected to God when we're praying. And I liked how Jer put his hands out like this, like maybe this is all you can do. Maybe it's releasing something, but like our body, we can use our body, our mind, our feelings, all those things to connect with God and to like release things to him. So we should use all those things. They're, like we shouldn't be afraid of them. We're whole people who he loves. So I think those are some good practices to not be afraid of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome. I totally agree and think that's good. And we shouldn't be afraid. I think we're afraid because there's like a piece of weakness or something, or like giving up of control, right? And I think that's like when it actually happens, you're like, yeah, this is actually good. And like the understanding that, you know, that God is in control of it is awesome. But I think that like even stopping the dominoes, or before the dominoes start to fall, to actually stop and like acknowledge God's control in it, and to give up that, and to like stop the roller coaster or whatever, is like it's not a natural feeling. Does that make sense? That's not a natural response necessarily. Maybe for me, I don't know, but that sort of to stop and acknowledge that God is in control of this, and he can take it, can breathe, and we can acknowledge God in it, and thank him for the things. I don't know, it's just not always the giving up, the letting go, the like this open-handed pieces are difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Gunda, would you, like I would say I've had anxious experiences before, but I wouldn't say I struggle with anxiety. How
would those, like anxious, do you mean like you were hungry, or like anxious like
I gotta get some food.
I gotta get some food right now?
That's hangry. It's different.
That's hangry. Yeah.
That's right.
Different things.
That's good.
I think we have to acknowledge that this is something that we deal with in the church, in our body. And if this is you and you are listening, then honestly, connect with someone. It's the best way out of it. Don't journey it alone. I know it's the one thing you don't want to do, but people are here and understand and want to walk with you through this. So reach out to someone.
And I would like really, really push, if you are in a place right now where it just feels like darkness and you're needing someone to connect with, go to our website and hit the need support button. We would love to walk alongside you, support you in whatever way possible. Seriously.
Luke, you should pray for that right now.
I was just yeah, Lord God, you are the light of the world. And I just recognize all of us at some point or another, we have struggled with anxious thoughts, with anxiety, Lord, with darkness. Father, some of us more than others. So, Lord, I just pray for those that are listening today, or those in our friendship circles that struggle with mental health, with anxiety, depression, God, that they would just take this step of faith. Lord, that they would see the light at the end of the tunnel, that they would reach out, God, and that our church would be a place that would just envelop them and hold them up, as Jeremy said, God. So, Father, we just pray for our church family and for those who are just struggling to see the light today, God. Trust you to meet them through the power of your Holy Spirit and show them the way. In Christ's name, amen. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, friends, for sharing. It's time to move to on the lighter side.
On the lighter side.
Okay, so with spring literally hitting us right now in Southern Alberta, I want to know what the top 3 things are for you that you're looking forward to in regards to spending time outside. You know, in the nice sun. What are your top 3 things that you're like, yeah, I want to do this outside?
Man, how about cutting the grass? Heard a couple lawnmowers today. That's a great sound.
Great
That's
smell
fun.
too. Great smell.
Yeah, great smell. It's just like the sound and smell of spring.
Started actually. We did our first lawnmower this weekend already.
Like, I like that smell, and I like the sound of it in a few
That's not
neighbors,
what
but
you
like,
want
it's not like the thing I'm looking forward to. Oh man,
Okay.
endlessly cutting my grass.
Simple
Yay.
things. It's the simple things.
It's simply, hey, just wait. When Ivor gets older, you won't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Luke's dreaming
So-
big over there. Dreaming big. Luke.
True, eh, Glenda?
I would say
Bike riding. Sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I just
Mark.
got a new bike. I was
Yeah.
gonna go there. I just got a new bike, so I'm like excited to like head into Lethbridge, hit the coulees for a bike ride. That's what I'm excited about.
Cool. That's one thing, not 3.
That's one thing. The number 2 thing, I really love like it being in the backyard. I won't say with friends right now because I don't want to put expectations too high. Right now, I'll say being in the backyard with my family because one day hopefully I'll be with my friends. But being in the backyard, enjoying the deck and the fire pit and
Tub.
games and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yes, the tub. But the number
Playing running bases with the
People
boys.
soup. I don't understand the hot tub thing. It's disgusting.
stop.
People
You know
Oh
what?
man, hot
What do you
tubs.
What do
If
you
I had
call
one,
it?
I'd be
People
so happy.
soup.
Add an
So
onion
good.
in there. Buh.
Hey, when you
Ugh.
go, I'm a sauna or steam room over the tub any day.
Yeah,
No.
that's interesting. I prefer not to
No
sweat,
way.
so I'm just gonna go with that not sweating thing.
Oh, steam
Yeah.
and saunas are incredible.
It
What a
really,
feeling.
yeah. Anyways, okay, let's get off that.
Maybe I should build one. That could be something I'm looking forward to. Backyard sauna, Mark Dick.
Yeah, there
Just
you go.
lay in the sun.
Build them.
Have your
That's-
sauna. What do you do in a
Totally
sauna?
different.
You just sit there?
Yeah,
I
sit
don't
there and sweat.
understand.
Talk.
My
Talk, sweat, it's
last
amazing.
third thing is just being outside in the sun. I love the sun.
Mark's keeping us on point.
Yeah, let's get to the lighter
going.
things. I don't want to
going.
think about you sweating
We'd
anymore.
like to evaluate your top 3 things. We're just trying to do that, Mark.
Okay.
Let us-
Let's hear.
let us be
Let's
us.
see yours, Wonder Woman. Let's hear the 3
Oh,
top 3
man.
things.
John.
I just want to sit
John's
on
up
the.
next.
I want to sit on the deck and read a book. 'Cause this is lazy people summer.
Well, then get out
Nice.
there.
I'd like to watch Keenan mow the lawn.
What? That's,
I don't know.
that's,
He's good
Stop.
looking.
I don't want to hear your comments on that.
yes, I want to make comments.
I
No,
wanna-
we don't want to hear
I
your
wanna
comments
make
on that.
comments.
Do not cut that
I
out.
also have a bike. I have like an old lady cruiser bike. It's the best. So riding a bike is wonderful. And just down past our house, we have horses. Like that, we live in the city, but
Wow.
we're on the edge of the city.
You
and
barely
so
live in the city.
Yeah,
If
hardly.
you walk down our house, you come to horses, and our grandkids love going to see the horses and feeding them apples. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Yeah, just the freedom to walk outside without a coat. And I would like to say camping, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And we don't have a trailer or anything. Minor problem that I was going to solve this year. Keenan doesn't know that yet, but
You know what? Why don't you just sit on the deck? I'll text Keenan to get fire up the lawnmower.
Luke, how about you? Let's move on.
Mark, we should come by and just watch Keaton too. Just show up in a couple
I'm
cars.
gonna-
Text me. Text me.
I wasn't about to evaluate you and your
You
weird
did.
questions.
Oh, you did. Onion.
Shit, Glenda.
Hey,
Good.
Luke, on to you.
Luke.
Well,
How about you?
I had to cut the grass and the
Yeah.
ride a bike.
Okay.
Okay.
3.
Is sauna your third one? Because you
What,
don't
hey,
have
what's watch Ruthie?
Watch
On?
Ruthie
What's number 3?
steaks.
barbecue.
Barbecue steaks.
Oh,
That's
that's a good one.
awesome.
Barbecuing is a great one.
Oh,
We never
great one.
stopped. We don't
and
stop
watching
there.
Ruthie, Glenda. Beautiful.
Let's go on to Levi.
Mark, any comments?
No comments.
got nothing.
I think like 3 things. Hammock outside. I'm looking forward to that. Barbecuing. I mean, we've already been doing it, even if it's a little bit cold, but like being able to eat it outside.
Oh,
That's
yes.
good. Yeah, maybe like fires, or I don't know, just hanging outside is good.
Mhm.
Hopefully I'll get to biking, and hopefully we get to hang out with friends and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Eventually.
I want to go to Glenda's and play ladder ball and bocce. And
Yeah, you can come to my house anytime. Just make sure the lawn is
Yeah.
mowed for you.
So
I just
don't
saw
know.
Jack walk by Glenda. I'm
Yeah,
looking
it's my
forward to
dog. I
Jack
like to
the
walk my
child.
dog also. It's very nice.
I want Chad the dog to meet Jack the infant. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. It'll be a great day,
It'll
Luke.
be a great
We'll
day.
have to film that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's all for us. Thank you for joining us. We love having you.
Yes.
Until next time, which is next week.
Yes.
See you guys later. Peace out.
Bye,
Peace
friends.
out. See you guys.
Welcome to the E-Free Lethbridge podcast.
Maybe to restart.
Yeah, we probably restart that one, eh?
Okay, you guys ready now?
Double take.